Brawl. Little intro. Jeremy Jones, the founder of Georgia Followers.
Yes, sir.
If you don't know what that is, what is Georgia Followers?
So GA Followers is basically we basically use all the social media platforms to talk about the state of Georgia. So that's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a website as well. And we just talk about Georgia pride and like the cultural symbolisms that exist here. And yeah, and we've been doing that for so long that we've kind of like snowballed and achieved so many, gained so many followers over the time. And yeah, now we're here today.
Awesome. So I'd love to hear kind of how that came to be. But first, tell me about you. Where are you from?
I was born in Mobile, Alabama. My dad was in the military.
Time out. So the founder of Georgia Followers is not from Georgia?
Yeah, I get a lot of flack for that. But yeah, I was born in Mobile, Alabama, which is like the southern part of Alabama. And my dad was in the military, so when I was around 5, we moved around a lot. So we moved from there to North Carolina, from North Carolina to San Diego, California, from there to Maryland, like the DC area. And then once I moved to the DC area, I moved to Atlanta. I started visiting Atlanta every summer. This is like around 6th grade. And I've been like living in Atlanta ever since, kind of.
Nice. And why were you visiting every summer?
My family, divorce issues and all that type of stuff. So like my mom was living in Atlanta.
Okay.
While my dad had when he was in the military, or he still is in the military, but during his active years, really, he had married somebody else, and we were kind of like, I was living with his family, or my family.
Same boat, man.
Yeah.
Parents divorced, and I was living with mom in Atlanta, and
Yeah.
dad in Philly, and back and forth.
Back and forth, yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing. Like, you get to experience more than the average kid does. Like, I got to see a lot growing up, like moving and understanding different cultures, like going out to Cali and, understanding Hispanic culture and like listening to Santana and stuff like that. Like, those times are important, and it really shaped who I am today, for real.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you were going to school in DC and stuff.
Yeah.
Visiting Atlanta over the summer. When did you make the move here?
So I made the move officially here, I want to say in 6th grade. That's when I started attending middle school in Jonesboro, Stone Mountain at first, and then we moved to Jonesboro, Georgia. And I spent middle school and high school there. But then once I graduated from high school, I moved back up to DC with my dad and started going to college a little bit up there to the Art Institute for like music production, because I was a rapper at the time. And then, I did that for a couple of years, and I moved back. And like since I moved back, I've been here for like the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Longer.
High school Atlanta, post high school DC, a little while and back. So when does this social media empire, this news outlet, when does this come up?
So this is when I was after high school. I had moved up to DC because I was kind of getting in trouble here in Atlanta.
What kind of trouble?
Just hanging around the wrong people. Like every day I was smoking weed, hanging around the wrong people, hanging around gangs and stuff like that a little bit. My grades were horrible, so once I moved up to DC, I was making music. And I went to the Art Institute. I was making beats too. But while I was at the school, like one day I was like, man, hey, I want to promote my music to people locally. And I got I'm from Atlanta. Like, why don't I just create a page that talks about things related to Atlanta, and then I could like promote my music there too, And then what I began to see, it was like people were more interested into the news than my music. Not to say my music was bad, but like just people were gravitating to like the news, sports, and events that we would talk about on these pages, and I just continued doing that instead of like the music, but. I still got a little love for music in my heart.
Yeah.
I still freestyle every now and then, man. But yeah.
So you started that like end of high school, after high school?
This is after high school when I was going to the Art Institute.
Okay.
This was like I was in their computer labs, and I just came up with it one day. It was like, hey man, I had a graphic designer that was literally sitting next to me at the time, and he created a logo within 5 minutes.
The one you still use?
Yeah, the one I still use.
Awesome, man.
Crazy. I didn't pay him. He just like, yeah, man, I'll do it. And then like he gave it to me, and I've just been using that logo ever since.
Dude, same thing with Brawl for a Cause.
Yeah.
There's a sophomore at UGA,
Right.
art student, really talented girl. She was like, yeah, I want experience with this.
Right.
Like, how does this? I was like, that's amazing.
Right,
You still
right.
use it today.
Right.
Same kind of deal. It's
Yeah,
amazing. When
it's amazing,
life
like,
lines up
yeah,
that way.
yeah, so-
people helping people. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy was sitting next to you. You get the logo. You have this
Mm-hmm.
idea to build a following, build an audience for your
Yeah.
music. People are responding to the news.
Yeah.
So you start that in Georgia.
Yeah.
Did you start any other?
Well, yeah, I started since I was in DC at the time. Like I started like I guess the brother company or the sister company, DMV Followers, which the DMV stands for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So yeah, I had a lot of success doing that as well. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So you have these kind of in both places where your life is.
Right,
Back
right.
and forth. You have these two.
Right.
followings That are
Yeah,
growing.
that are growing. Yeah.
And are they growing at the same rate or
No.
people are
So
just- okay.
yeah. So initially, the DMV one was the bigger one at first, and that was the one that allowed me to really see that it was something there to like duplicate. And I remember calling my partner. I have a co-founder. His name is Josh. And I remember calling him while I was in DC, like, yo, I got this thing up here that I'm doing. Like, I need you on board for this, and we need to do it in Atlanta too. And he didn't really understand what was going on because social media was like kind of new at the time. I mean, it wasn't new, but like Twitter was new.
Yeah.
So this is around like 2010, and you know, he just didn't really see. He didn't see the importance. Like, he didn't understand what was going on, and I had to like call him day after day, like, no, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Like, you got to see this. And then he ended up getting on board and helping me out, and we just been doing it ever since. Like, just been consistent with it.
And what's the nature of your partnership? What's he good at? What are you good at? How does that work together?
Yeah, that's interesting. So he, to me, is more of like a, I don't know. He's like I'm more of like the think big picture, like dream. Like, I might kind of sell some of my things that I'm thinking, like my ideas, and he's more like, he'll bring me back down to reality and be like, all right, no, this is like, let's be realistic about this. I'm kind of unrealistic at times, but like, yeah, but it's a good balance that allows us to move forward in a concise way, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, without you, Georgia Followers, DMV Followers wouldn't be there because basically you needed someone to see where social media was going,
Right.
why there's interest in this, that is
Right.
going to continue to get big.
Right.
And then someone like Josh, you know,
Yeah.
day to day, knock it out,
Right,
more
right.
realistic. And then he's really into like design and stuff too. Right?
Yeah. Even so, how I met Josh was back in high school. We like I said, I was hanging around like wrong crew a little bit, but then like Josh was like, I've known him since middle school, so I would always kind of like link up with him, go to his house, play video games, and we kind of like connect that way. But you know, we always knew, I always knew him to be like an artist. Like, he would always draw in class. He always, like, when I went in his room, he'll have paintings on his wall that like he made. So yeah, he's always been into design, and it's led to, you know, some of our clients that we've had, like working with them. He draws stuff for them, and
Foot action
yeah,
stuff.
Foot Action,
That
yeah,
stuff
Foot
is
Locker,
cool,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's funny how life works, man. Like, it's just a friend, and like we built this thing together, and now we're here. So
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, I see your stickers everywhere. I see people
Yeah.
rocking T-shirts and hats.
yeah,
Some, you know, merchandise is a side of your business.
yeah,
You got this news outlet where you're putting out stuff that has to do with people in a certain geography. Like,
Right.
hey, I live in Atlanta, therefore I want to know what's happening with the Falcons and United. I want to know what's happening in City Hall this week, or
Right.
whatever. What else do y'all get into? Merchandise, there's news.
yeah. We've done we do events every now and then. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it is just like the news, sports. I mean, and events. Like, we've done a few FIFA tournaments, like, you know, yeah. So we're still trying to kind of like branch out and do more things outside of like the news and sports, and also the merchandise. But yeah, I mean, that's for the most part, that's what it is, man. We just stay consistent at it.
And how many years has it been?
We've been doing it for 8 years, 8 or 9 years.
Wow.
But you know, that's not to say like when we first started, things obviously didn't pick up like how they are now. I mean, it was literally probably 4 or 5 years where we were just doing it, not even making money, just doing it because we enjoyed like informing a community of people, you know. But yeah, and then we started making a little cheddar.
Yeah. So when did that shift happen where you're like, I want to be an artist, and this is about music, and this is a way to help me do my thing? When did that shift happen to, hey, this is good on its own, and you can feed and build it for what it is?
Man, I think I really realized that when I remember. So when I was rapping, you know, I would take meetings with people that were kind of like interested in like managing me and stuff like that. I had a meeting with Big Boy one time. And I remember he takes me. I had to be like 19 or 20, and he takes. Yeah, I might have been a little older than that, but he takes me to the studio, and we go upstairs, and he's like, "Yo, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Man, like I love rapping, but like I got this business that I kind of started." And I was like, man, like I love rapping, but I'm not making any money doing this. And like my mom, like I just moved out, so it's like I gotta make money. And he was like, yeah, man, you gotta kind of like just work hard at it. And I was like, you know, that's when I knew. I was like, man, I gotta just stick with the business right now because like that is what's gonna like feed me right now. But I always look back at that time period and was like, that was like really the switch for me to like, yeah, like all right, I just need to like focus on making money. Then if this is I need to focus on this business versus like the rapping where, you know, I wasn't really making any finances really or any revenue. So.